This player, the 5th best in the world, according to Smogon. These are the Wolfie Glicks of singles. ABR, Empo, Santu, Nat. And this is the biggest tournament of competitive singles, but now you're thinking, how?
Okay, first of all, what was the opponent smoking? Trick Room and Psychic Terrain, but in singles. Which is crazy because Kingambit, the king of OU, is a nightmare for Trick Room. But here, Psychic Terrain and Iron Hands keep it in check. And now you're thinking, there is no way to work in a big tour before, that's way too gimmicky too.
On the other side of the chessboard, raw power. The axis Cure and Volcanion hits like a truck, but Kingambit is the king, and like in chess, lose the king, lose the game.
The king's typing is the only piece that separates a win from a brutal loss. Why? The Psychic Triad can unleash their cursor technique, Expanding Force. Except, they're equipped with coverage moves to deal with Kingambit. If it comes down to it, Tera is your last resort. But the moment you Tera, you're wide open to Expanding Force. So you only pull the trigger if you know exactly how to win from there. Now, look at this. Ice, fire, water, ground, fairy. Tell me, where are Xern's resist? Exactly. But now Nat's side looks stronger, right? Ursaluna and Iron Hands both push into Lando the only safety net against them on the field. No ghost type for facade or close combats. Fairies, one heavy slam and they are gone. This is not a game where errors can be made.
Attarin is the lead, and it's an optimal choice. You know why? Turn 1 Trick Room for maximum efficiency, while preventing rocks from Lando. But if you're Nat, you should prevent it at all costs. Kingambit shows up, but XRN retreats into Iron Hands, putting Nat immediately in a tough position. One wrong play here, and you lose the game on the spot, straight from turn 2. Kingambit must switch out. It is obvious. You're thinking about Lando? If Hans predicts the switch, game over. Losing Lando means Ursaluna clicks headlong rush with no checks. Every other piece of the boards matters, and that leaves you with one choice.
Valiant comes in. Its defensive utilities? Close to zero. Except it can absorb CC and retaliate with a devastating Moonblast, while Trick Room isn't up. Yet. But surprise, surprise, Xern reads it and clicks Heavy Slam, which is brilliant. Valiant leaves the field in silence, like Nat, after all, the silent type. But Lando comes in, ready to intimidate and force progress. Except, Xern goes for a surprising early Tera. The reason this works so well is because of these 3 points. 1. You cover both Earthquake and U-turn in a game where every turn you waste by switching will worsen your position. 2. You punch another hole into Nat's team, closing the gap to victory. And 3. The most important. Aura! But Nat takes the risk and click a Q. Is this the end of Lando? Turns out a big CC lands for almost half, trying to catch a Volcanion switch on Ice Punch. This looks like an error, right? Spending a Tera this early without getting a kill. But in reality, it's a fine mid-ground move. Your momentum is preserved and Lando is now incapable of taking an Ice Punch or Facade. Except it's still on the field, therefore Ants cannot risk staying in. Mimikyu is sent in, but luckily for Xern, the red card sends in Atherin, who can't prevent a Trick Room now. Or can it? Nazor can always paralyze and bind turns worth gold.
But if it doesn't happen, it's going to be bad. Why? At is on your field, Trick Room is up, you are slower than most. Look strong until Ursaluna comes in for free and Mimikyu is saved for later. Therefore, Nat goes for Volcanion. A safer play? Yes, but only if you have a Shuka Berry to cover for the bear. Mimikyu opens his domain. Trick Room takes the steam and leaves the field with his course technique. But Hoopa is the one to come in.
Nat decides to pivot into Atherin, threatening to eat Hoopa. But Xern castles its king. Free Ursaluna switch. Hoopa is the only thing that can take special hits from Kyurem and Volcanion. It needs health. They decide to trade Atherin, the slowest mon of Nat's team, and a Psychic Resist. gone. Actually, it is forced, because Nat needs to bring Ursaluna in range of an attack, get a kill and improve her position.
We ran hours of tests simulating the same game, but only with the information shown in the replay. No fancy sets or unknown Teras. Yet, Nat is going to make a mistake. A massive one. Turn 11. Kingambit, the only answer of the team against Expanding Force, decides to Tera. The dawn of a disaster? If you Tera at this point of the game, you should have a plan in mind to win, because Atorin is now ready to pull the trigger. But Upa goes for Focus Blast. Therefore, Kingambit gets his Iron Head in. Now, keeping Kingambit healthy? Mandatory. You need to play an entire endgame with it as your recondition.
Except no, forget it. Nat wanted to fight the hardest challenge possible and clicks Iron Head again instead of Sucker Punch, with a Gambit slower than Upa, and gets an Hyperspace Fury to the face. But is the game compromised? Xrd had a Masterplan, and that chip on Kingambit is exactly what he needed. The reason is, indeed he can now trade them with Expanding Force to mate the king, who's forced to run away into Curem. But now, it's all about counting the turns. Trick Room and Psych Terrain. Right there, on the screen. Nat is forced to sack the entire squad, because Kingambit became a flying type, out of necessity, instead of planning. No peerlering that can help.
Logging into Xrn's account and forfeiting maybe? She's not new to this behavior. She did exactly that, allegedly. Now imagine, you're playing on the suspect ladder, you're facing the top 5 best player, except you're winning, big. But as you're going to click the final move, the battle ends, with your loss as a forfeit. Except you didn't click anything but the correct move. Turns out, Nat got into your own account and made you forfeit. Now tell me how would you feel about that? I know people will do the craziest things for a win, but that is insane because why would you do that? Even if you lose one game, you can just keep playing and get your X easily. Ego, perhaps, maybe she didn't want the record to be stained in front of the community of fans and players. Word gets out, but with a few nice words to the right people, her ban gets lifted. Such a silly little troublemaker, right? Elites truly get to do anything without repercussions. Back to the game.
Gambit can pull out a miracle. You must save it for last and flinch Iron Heads for the best odds.
Do you think Nat can do that?
A miracle?
Nah, counting.
Well, it's not hard. Let's count together.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. No, Nat, no!
Nat, what the fuck have you done here?
No, please, porca puttana, no,
Please,
stop.
please don't tell me you got tricked by first grade math.
Don't tell me.
Really, Nat? Or Manat? You know, it's hard to distinguish between the two. I can't believe it. Top 5 player on Smogon, confused by panic.
I always wondered why confusion makes you bonk yourself in the head, and this game might be proof.
Bravo, Game Freak! What is left for us at this point? Do we still have certainties in life? Yes, we do. That Smogon tournaments can be the peak of competitive incompetence, especially when it comes to Gen 9 OU. I wonder why.
The game is not over.
But my heart... Call 911! We need an ambulance!
And the police too. This turn is a crime.
But what if I told you that this disaster was entirely avoidable? We replayed this match for hours, trying all scenarios. Let's go back to turn 12. Nat went for the kill with Iron Head, but what if she clicked Sucker Punch instead? Gambit would retain its health, which is mandatory. Indeed comes in next, but it won't have enough power now to threaten Kingambit with Expanding Force. Xrd needs the Trick Room up to win. We'll give you 3 seconds to write the next 2 moves Nat should do to win the game. Anchor from Indeedee is free, mandatory. You can lock Kingambit in Sucker Punch and set up your Trick Room. But if you switch out, nothing prevents the Trick Room to go up. Except that's okay, because Kingambit comes back in as the Trick Room goes up. The reason this works so well is because now you are in an offensive position and can attack for free. But what if Ants get the predict and goes for Ice Punch? Back into Gambit, you are safe from any roll. 2 turns of Trick Room left, your kill is guaranteed. From there are no scenarios in which Nat would lose, except an Ice Punch freeze.
But speaking of freezes, just as they say, if there's an Ice Beam, there is a chance, and Nat Skurem is feeling lucky.
Nat, top 5 player, top 5 prize fixer.
Affanculo. But have you ever faced this team too? Tell us down below with a comment. And if you think this is the first time a pro lost it so badly,
those videos are waiting for you. The night is young.